But I like the way we've always done it.
Welcome back to the next episode of 6 Weeks to Wellness with Jan Fitzpatrick of inVibeHealth.com. Jan, what are we talking about? Why the tone of voice, and what do you mean here?
Well, in the middle of our life and our life changes, a sure way of having a disappointing holiday season is to have expectations of how things should be.
Right.
And what would happen if you released your grip on how things ought to be?
Absolutely. So I'll just remind people we're in the midst of our 4-part series here with Jan, talking about how to make sure that the holidays are happy for women 50 and beyond. And sure enough, expectations are a big issue. Let's give people a quick rundown of the 3 main points that we're going to cover in this episode. Jan, what are we going to hit here?
All right. Well, we're going to talk about what is expectation and why are expectations created and what can you do instead.
Excellent. Well, I think this is a really important topic because I'm with you 100%, Jan. Expectations are a great way to set yourself up for disappointment. So let's start with your first point there. What is expectation? Right. So tell me about that.
Well, expectation is all about me. Okay. And it's the belief about what would happen if things happen your way. You believe that you'll be happier. That's expectation.
I once went on a retreat with a Zen master, and he had a great line that has stuck with me all the time. He said, if you believe that happiness is something that's about to happen in the future, you've condemned your present moment to unhappiness until you get there. I mean, because by definition, you have not arrived at happiness. I think that's a big problem with expectation, right? If you've pictured in your mind how things should go and that you'll be happy if things go as you believe they should go, well, your present is unbalanced, but what if they don't go that way, right?
Oops. Yeah, and the and the expectation too is, especially with in this time of our lives, we've had traditions or we've done things with friends and family for a long time, and now they have to change, and the things that were satisfying us and kind of making us feel holiday season-ish are not there anymore.
You raise a really interesting point there, Jan, which is that, in a sense, the fact that we have traditions kind of sets us up automatically to have expectations, right? Because that's what a tradition is. You kind of expect that year after year something similar is going to happen. Of course, ironically enough, I think for a lot of people, the disappointment of the holiday is what happens over and over again, and that sort of is the tradition, right? So, yes, we want people to have a happier time, and so part of it is looking at the fact that, expectations are going to creep in just because of the routine of the holidays. So let's talk about that, though. This kind of takes us to your second point about why expectations get created, right? So tell me more about what your thoughts are on that.
Well, when we fear change, we experience disconnection and a kind of a sense of emptiness. And to fill the emptiness, we create expectations of what we believe will fulfill us.
And so absolutely. So, and that then is the seed for the problem that if things don't live up to the picture in your mind, right? Yes.
Yeah, because if you do have an established ritual, it's kind of like if you're familiar with going to church, everything happens at a certain time. Well, what if they skipped half the service? I think your expectations were that it would be a certain way, and that's what happens with holidays too. We've always gone over to Mom's, and we've always gotten together with a particular group of friends, and if one has passed away and that person is the one that organized everything, then things have to change, and we have to let go of our grip on it.
Absolutely.
It also happens at this time of the year, time of our lives, that the old ways really aren't as satisfying, even when they happen.
Yeah, absolutely, because you've changed, right? So what you want
Yeah.
what you want may have changed without you paying attention to it, really, right? So there's a part of your brain that says, well, this is how I'm supposed to do it, right? That's what the tradition is. But now there's more and more of a disconnect as your life trajectory has kind of gone on a different path. And you've mentioned a bunch of those changes, right? So you may have lost a spouse. You may have a completely different family configuration. Your kids are no longer kids, right? All of these things shift everything around. Well, okay, so let's talk about what people could be doing instead, right? I mean, if we're going to try to catch these expectations, if we're going to try to, be aware that they could just creep in, what's the alternative then so that doesn't happen and catch you in that disappointment cycle?
I think for me what happened was I went through the ritual, which I knew was going to be the last year I would be with my in-laws for all of the holidays, because I knew I wasn't going to be there the next year. And when they happened the way they happened, which was as expected, it just didn't feel as good. It just didn't feel as fulfilling. And so I really sat back and said, well, what would I really like to do if I could change it all to something and not have to follow a tradition or a ritual that was in place from 25 years ago? And if your holiday plans include others, can you remain neutral, hear what others are wanting to do, and try something new, especially if other people are included? My example is my sons. To get together with them, I actually asked them, what would they like to do?
Now there's a strategy.
We're all agreed that we'd like to have this happen. Now what do we do to have this happen? And I think you could, if you don't have children in your life, or family members, which I have quite a few of my friends don't have close family members anymore, but they have a close group of friends. What can we do to make this a rememberable experience for all of us? I know that one time for Christmas, a friend of mine said, hey, would you like to go down to Chinatown and have dinner on Christmas Day? And I thought, wow, because down there nothing's closed.
That's right. That's right.
And it was really a lot of fun. It was just a great day.
Well, I love what you're saying there, Jen, because part of the good news message there is that you actually don't have to have all the answers yourself. I mean, if you've got questions because of the frustration or because of disappointment with the way things have been or the way they're not fitting anymore, what a great simple concept. Invite the people that you want to create a new tradition with, and have a brainstorming session. Say, hey, what if we did it our way this year or next year? How could we create something that's going to be fun for us all and could start a whole new tradition? Because we're in a new phase of life, right? Why not?
Exactly.
Excellent. Well, this has all been good stuff, Jan, and we're kind of midway through our 4-part series here, talking about how to make the holidays happier, especially for women 50 and beyond. And this has been the expectation episode, right? So we've covered a bunch of ground. We've talked about what is an expectation. We've talked about why expectations kind of creep into the mix in the first place, and how you can make things turn out different. So good stuff, Jan. I want to invite people to make sure they've visited your website at invibehealth.com, because if they're not connected to you directly, they might miss the notification for the rest of this series, and then they might not have a very happy holiday. We can't let that happen. So Jan has a great offer for you. If you come over to invibehealth.com, her Amazon.com book is available absolutely free to you just by clicking on the book icon and putting your name and email address in. It'll be delivered to you in digital form right to you. But you'll also be on the notification list. Jan writes some great blog posts that you don't want to miss out. We do these video segments for you as well, and we've got more segments coming at you for creating a happy holiday for women 50 and beyond. So Jan, until the next episode, it's been great talking to you, and I have no expectations now for as we move forward.
Hope to see you soon. Thanks.